Got it. Happy Monday. I just got a notification that I'm live, so that must mean that I'm live. Now it's just to be able to see comments and say hi to everybody. If you're watching this on a replay, put in the comments, please, that you watched it on a replay. I like to know. If you're watching it live, say hi. As always, tell me what you're working on. Tell me how your weekend was. Mine was very busy. Let's see if we can find some comments. Hi, Linda, Lisa. Lisa's back in Michigan. Sarah, Barbara, up in Marquette. Barbara, have you guys gotten any snow yet? My brother is down east of Cleveland in Ohio, and he had posted that they were getting snow the other day, which, ew. I don't want to, I'm not ready for snow yet, but at least you're in Marquette. You guys are a little bit more prepared for it. Melissa's here. Melissa is on here with me, which is awesome and thankful. I'm so thankful for technology because she is in Cancun right now, getting nice and sun-kissed, let's call it. Yeah, I'm totally not ready for snow, Melissa. Linda working on clue 2. No snow, still beautiful. Nicole working on a Christmas present scarf. Are you knitting or crocheting it? Hi, Joyce. Hi, Debbie. So again, as everybody comes on, tell me hi, tell me what you're working on. Noelle finished chapter 1 of Journey to Pearl Island. Awesome. I've seen Christina knit that one a couple times. I haven't actually knit it myself, but I love that there are so many different combinations. I like shawls like that where everybody's isn't going to look identical. I mean, like the Stephen West one, we're all knitting the same pattern, the same stitches, but with 5 colors, we could all just use the same 5 colors and have completely different looks. Hi, Patty. Knitting, it's my pattern. Oh, awesome. All right. Give it another minute or two and let a few people join on here. So I had a lot of knitting time this weekend, yesterday specifically, because Victoria had they call it a convention for dance. So she spent basically like an all day bunch of master classes. So 8 or 9 different classes, all different techniques. That was from 8 a.m. until about 6:30 p.m. in downtown Detroit yesterday. So it was a pretty early morning and a long day. And we found out that the Detroit Marathon was also happening downtown at the same time. So we came about this close to entering the tunnel to Canada. Luckily, there was a place for me to U-turn and go back the other direction, but Google Maps and the car's GPS didn't know about the marathon, so they couldn't tell me roads were closed and redirected. But we survived, we made it there. Jenny working on mittens for grandchildren, awesome. Sarah finished your Gallatin scarf, beaded tassels, awesome. Except for the beaded tassels. Fun. That's such a quick knit. I might do another one of those too. Joyce started Sock Luck, Hot Luck socks for Suzanne. Oh, that's their little exchange they have going. Tammy, you're in Canada? I didn't know it was happening so soon. Ah, you told me you weren't sure when I talked to you the other day. Hi, Mary, working on a lace beanie for your cousin who has cancer. Oh, my heart goes out to the family. But that's kind of you to make something for her or him. Can't assume it's a her. Terry working on the I cord for the last section of clue 1. Excellent. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to Monday Motivation. My name's Kristen. I'm the owner of the Little Yarn Shop in downtown Saginaw, Michigan. Inside the SVRC marketplace, lots of food, lots of friends, lots of dessert around here. The market's closed right now because it's Monday. The entire indoor market is open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So what am I didn't even write myself any notes this week, you guys, so I'm going a little off the cuff. I finished a thing. I have piles of things, so I know what I'm talking about. I just may not remember names of patterns or things like that. Tammy, oh, you were joking since we almost ended up there. Yeah, we probably wouldn't have made it very far. I've never been in the tunnel, so I don't know if there's a checkpoint at this side of the tunnel or that side of the tunnel, but we wouldn't have made it far. Oh, Debbie working on a second Gallatin scarf. Bev from Birch Run, hi. Oh, I forgot to change my earbuds out, so I gotta switch these around. Okay, Melissa's helping me out already with the bordered triangles baby blanket. Okay, give me a minute to switch my stuff around here.
Can you still hear me? Yes, no, good. Hi, Charlene from Glenny. Got your yarn good.
Sending anything out about that. Okay, so Melissa already posted the link to the pattern, but I finished my bordered triangles baby blanket. Look at how cute it is. So 3 different yarns, the variegated pink, the solid white, and the solid pink. I don't remember the sizes it's supposed to be, but what? 3 feet? 3 feet squared. It's a little saggy in the middle. And the only thing I can think is I didn't follow the instructions. So when I got done with this white edge, the white border, it told me to bind off and then pick up the stitches for each edge. I didn't do that because I thought it was kind of silly to be binding off and then picking up again. Okay, so it says large is a 33-inch square. So I didn't measure it when I blocked it. I just tried to block it out as much as I could without pinning it, since I still don't have my blocking pins at home. But I'm wondering if doing that bind off all the way around and then picking it up may have given that center portion a little bit more stability. I really love how it turned out. It's very sweet. It would be a great size for the stroller. I mean, really, it's a decent, stand up so you can see it. It's a decent size. Could almost be a little lap blanket. It would be a good size for, I know I have ladies that do like lap blankets for veterans, for people in wheelchairs, things like that. It would be a good size for that, and something a little bit different than maybe things you've done before. So it turns out that the yarns I used for that are Cascade 128 Superwash. It's 100% Superwash Merino. I like the fact that Cascade does a lot of this where they call it 128, and that's because it's got 128 yards per skein, so it's easy to remember. Some of them don't coordinate like that, but this one does. But this yarn is also the same yarn I used to knit the sweater I'm wearing. So the sweater is Brink. The Brink sweater by Heidi May. Heidi May is Velvet Acorn Designs. You've probably seen some of her patterns. She's got beautiful, I assume they're her daughters, beautiful girls with these blonde locks of hair. And most of her patterns are shown with the children's version. So Melissa just posted the link, and if you can see that, you can see it's a little girl pattern. You can see a little girl in the picture. Most of her patterns are written from toddler size or smaller sometimes up to adult size. So it's a really good value. It would be, any of her patterns would be great if you wanted to do mom and me sweaters or hats for people. If you had kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, and you wanted to make the same thing in multiple sizes. So I didn't put buttons on it. I knit this thing a couple of years ago, Victoria, before I knit the rainbow striped sweater. This is the sweater Victoria would grab all the time, but it's a top down seamless raglan, switches a little bit between stockinette and garter on the sleeves, which is kind of fun. Looks like hers is cuffed in the picture. I was trying to look at it. Mine is not. But what's neat is, yeah, so it's supposed to have buttons. I do have buttonholes. Maybe, yeah, just a couple up here. But this little panel in the back, you guys see how cool that is? And it's just made with some increases and stockinette and reverse stockinette, but it's nice and long. It's very flattering. Can be worn open. You could definitely put buttonholes all the way down and button it up. I just have one of my really cool purple sage shawl pins on. Look at how beautiful that is. Tammy, did I do it for you before you even asked? Stand up, how long is it? So it shows, it does, hi Christina. Let me back up a little bit so you can see full up. So there is, maintenance guys are here. They always say hi to me. And with that increased, or the increases with that panel, it does, it is a little bit longer in back, which a lot of people appreciate. So 128 superwash, and the yardage is pretty decent. I didn't look at the bust sizes on this one, but 255 up to 900 yards for the largest size. So at 128 yards a skein for this yarn, it would be less than 9 skeins, I think. My math skills are not what they used to be. You guys can do the math. My phone is being occupied right now by the video, so I can't calculate it out. But very comfy, easy to do, would be a fun first sweater. There are no collars to pick up. I don't think. Maybe there is. I might have had to pick up the collar, but the button bands are knit right with it, just in garter. So there we go. Sizes available to, so a toddler 2 all the way up to, well, the large is a 37-inch chest circumference, which is not very size inclusive. So I apologize about that. Tamming asked, what size did I make? That would be helpful information to have. I don't have that information right now. It should be in on my project page on Ravelry. My guess is I would have made the medium, which would be a 35-inch chest circumference. So a lot of these sweaters though are, because they're designed to be a little bit more open, are a little bit more forgiving. This one, especially because it is top down, would be easy enough to cast on extra stitches for a more fabric in the front if you needed to, if you were a little bit bustier. So that's what I'm wearing. What I am working on, I'm being pretty monogamous right now with my shawlography, Stephen West shawl. We have quite a few people knitting this mystery knit along with us. Sorry guys, I couldn't think of the wording. For those of you who haven't heard us talk about it in the last couple weeks, Stephen West is a designer. He designed the shawls that are above my head. Let's see if I can move this and not ruin things. Starflake was 2019. Winter Lights was not one of his mystery shawls, but every single shawl up here is one of his designs. So shawlography is this year's mystery knit along. For the last 2 Fridays, we've gotten clues. We don't really know what it's going to look like until we get the clue. And I have cheated a little bit, and I think it's helpful though, with watching his video ahead of time. So he'll put a link in your download each week to a YouTube video, which incidentally, if you find his YouTube channel, once he has uploaded the clue, you don't have to go directly through the link in the pattern. It should show up on his YouTube page. So if you're somewhere and if you don't have access to the digital copy, you should be able to go to his YouTube channel. Bev started it thinking in over my head, keep trying. Yes. Just baby steps, rewatch his videos. I really do think he does a good job in explaining things. I'm working on it too, loving it, keep wondering how big it's going to be. He did say it's not going to be as big as last year's slip extravaganza. I do remember him saying that in one of his Instagram lives, I think. So he said it's going to be big, but not that big. So clue 1 ended with these little loopy guys last week. And I think it took me, I don't remember if I had those done when I did my live last week or if I was still working on them. I think I was still working on them. But so that was clue 1, and it was 4 sections. Clue 2 started with picking up or knitting from those little loops, just some slip stitches. And then these little welts, this fun little texture. Slip stitches again. He did it a lot last year too with the slip stitches and showing how you could get so many different textures from the same technique. So up here you've got little triangles that show up, and then bobbles. His technique for bobbles is different than something I've done before. And really, really cool in that you don't have to fight so much with making sure it doesn't go inside out or it's inverted. They do sometimes pop to the back, but the way he has you knit them and slip other stitches around them, it keeps them pretty much in place. I thought, Chandra, almost to section 7, and I'm afraid. Unless I haven't finished the V's clue. I thought you went home and got it, but I understand. So the last part of this clue 2 is these little short row. They're not really garter wedges because it's not all knit. It's some knit and some purl, but it gives you kind of this really cool reversible texture. I have that much left to do. So each one is a couple stitches shorter every time. So I'm not very far on that. I've been trying to keep track of how long this section takes me. I thought I was tracking it on the first section, but I didn't. This row of bubbles took me an hour. Thankfully, I was just sitting at dance at Kobo, what's it called now? TCF Arena, TCF, whatever, Convention Center, just sitting and had a lot of time to do that. But what's the rush? It's only Monday. I'm not getting another clue until Friday. So I have time. So once I do this little wedge on one side, I will have to do the same thing on the other side. And he shows that it kind of starts to stretch out a little bit with that because they don't go all the way. They don't meet up in the center. So there will be a section that doesn't have these wedges. Kind of hard to explain, but I have done a lot of knitting. You guys know I knit a ton of shawls and garments, and this has techniques, at least 3-4 different techniques that I've not done before. So different textures, different methods. So it's really fun. I love learning new things. I love challenging myself. And I think he says that he learns a new technique and then incorporates it into a lot of his patterns, which he has had a few patterns recently with these little flipped V's. But most of them have mohair in them. So I thought I was outsmarting the pattern. And when I knit my catkin shawl, I'll grab it quick so I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So when I knit the catkin, down toward the bottom, down here, it has these little, I'm not going to call them bubbles because they're just supposed to be little circles, but you slip all of those stitches. And at the widest part, you slip 7, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 stitches in a row. And I found the first section I did that, I was having a hard time, even though I would really try and give myself some slack. I was having a hard time still getting enough where it wouldn't pucker. So the second row of those that I did, I added a yarn over on either side of those slips that I could drop later, and it gave me more slack. So I thought I was being smart with my shawlography. And in looking at these sections here, there's a section of blue where it's knit 1, slip 5. And I didn't want it to be too tight, so I did those yarn overs. What it turned into, and part of it too is because the gray yarn in here was my knit night shawl that I frogged in order to use it in this. So it's a little bit spaghetti-like, but I have a lot of slack back behind here on those. I'm hoping if I aggressively block it enough, those will stretch out. So up here, I decided to just do what he said. And if I block it, they'll stretch a little bit, but still have plenty of give. So you live and you learn. I was not going to take those rows back because it is a lot of stitches and it takes some time. So to give you guys an idea, when people ask how long it takes you to do something, or you guys ask how many hours I have to spend on it. Section 5, which was the slip stitch columns. So that was this pink and orange. That section took me 4 hours. Section 6 was these welts. Knitting the black took me 2 hours, but technically creating the welts wasn't until section 7. So that's why that one was so quick. Section 7, the triangles and picking up those welts took 4 hours. The bobbles took me an hour. The row back was knit one, slip one, easy. And so far, the short rows have taken me just about 2.5 hours to get that done. So since Friday, I have knit 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 hours on this thing. That's a lot of knitting. So don't stress out when you see that I have a lot of things done, because I do spend a lot of time knitting. It's fun though. And it's what I do. I can't say I don't have to work a regular job, because I have spent the last week doing bookwork on QuickBooks, which I can't, I have not figured out how to do bookkeeping and knit at the same time. I can't even listen to a podcast or an audiobook while I'm doing my bookkeeping, because I can't multitask that well. So I either pay attention to one or the other. Hi, Kathy. Melissa, do you knit on shawlography at the shop or at home, thinking it could be slightly distracting at the shop? I haven't. I don't think I've knit on it much at the shop. Friday I do. So Friday, and this past Friday, it was pretty, I had like chunks where it was quiet in here, and instead of, probably doing things that needed to be done, I knit on it a little bit. But then for the most part, I'm not here again until Wednesday, except Monday nights. So by then I'm usually done with the clue, but there are only a few things that I can't knit on while I'm here at the shop. So far, everything that I've done with the shawlography is a short enough repeat that I would be okay picking it up and putting it down. The butterfly shawl, double knitting. There's one other thing that I did not that long ago that I realized I cannot do here at the shop, but for the most part, I can do it. Cora, hi. Just finishing up I-cord section 4. Okay, so that's what I'm working on. I still have a ways to go on that. Last week, I showed the holiday kit. Well, I slid it out of the way. The self-love. Give me a second. I need to get rid of my gum. Okay, sorry about that. Hopefully you guys couldn't hear me chomping on it. It's driving me crazy. The holiday needle kit from Knitter's Pride, and the magnetic pattern holder with that sweet little knitter on it. And I mentioned that there was another pattern design that I sold out of before I could even show this to you guys. I got more of them, and I ordered a whole bunch. That way they didn't go right away. But this is their other pattern. It's called Blossom. And it's beautiful. It looks like watercolor. Isn't that gorgeous? Same design still with the snap, zipper pocket, magnets. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I do sell replacement magnet sets, and it comes with 2 of the long magnets and at least 3 of the short ones. The short ones are the really strong ones. I try and keep those in stock because the magnets are easier to lose than the actual whole pattern. This is the large size, Melissa. Yes, they are $34.99. If you want one, you want to either have me set one aside for you and you can come into the shop and pick it up, let me know. You can put it in the comments. If you want me to send one to you, I can do that too. I just need to know. So that's the Blossom, and they came up with a whole series of items that coordinate with both sets, really, the knitter and the flowers. So for my double pointed needle ladies, Christina, how much is the replacement magnet sets? I see them on a shelf, so I will go look and see, let you know. They are, I think it says $7.99. So it comes with two, looks like two of the stronger magnets and two of the longer magnets in a set. They may be a little bit different now. This one looks like it's been on the shelf for a little while because I forget about them and they get tucked back to the side. For a blue flower pattern holder and the extra set of magnets. Mary, the measurements of the pattern holder. In the open position, it is 20.5 inches by 12 inches. In the folded position, it's 10.2 inches by 12 inches. So it will hold a standard 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. They make a half size one, but primarily I only keep the larger ones in stock because it'll hold a whole sheet of paper. You don't have to fold your paper in half and try to fuss with it. You could stand it on end. I know Melissa mentioned that last week. The way it sits like an open book, you could easily stand it on end. You just have to do the magnet the other way. And the magnet's a little bit long for that. Christina set aside the replacement set for you. Okay, that I can do. So that's the pattern holder. So a lot of their new products are coming in these beautiful mesh bags too, which would be fantastic for laundry, putting your socks, your hand knit socks, things like that in the laundry. This is a case for double pointed needles. Has 4 different areas to put your needles in. These little elastic guys here. It's kind of a suede-y finish. And it looks like it's given you enough space where once you put your needles in, it will actually still zip up. Debbie, the knitter girl, please. All right, yep, those I have too. So these are the double pointed needle cases. These are $27.99. It will hold 6-inch and 8-inch DPNs, it says. Up to 16 sets of double pointed needles. So that's the DPN set. The other set, the other case that I got is this big, beautiful case. Again, mesh bag. I wasn't sure what they meant by this in the description, so I had to get one. I mean, I had to get more than one because they're beautiful, but it says project pouch with roll-on cases. I don't know what they mean by roll-on cases. It almost seems like it's one of those things that was translated to English from another language, but it's like the size of a clutch. Look at that. It would be great for small projects. So it's got these 2 little guys in there. That's what they're talking about, the roll-on cases. But look at this. This would be great for a little project or as needle storage with these cases. It's got 2 pockets here. You see that? 1, 2 pockets there. Zipper compartment there, which is pretty big. Like you could put cords and things in there. And again, it's got that kind of that suede finish. Then these little cases, I'd tell you what I use them for, but let's see what they say you're supposed to use it for. One is a double pointed needle roll that can store up to 11 sets of DPNs. One is an interchangeable needle roll that can store up to 12 pairs of needle tips. So for those of you that have the Haya needles or have seen the Haya needles, this is a similar setup to that, where you've got the different little areas, larger on this end, smaller on that end for, I'm assuming the short one's going to be for your interchangeables. your 4-inch or 5-inch interchangeables. And the longer one, I don't know, I would probably use this for interchangeables too, because I don't have a lot of double points, but it's just a taller version of the same thing with the pockets smaller on one side, larger on the other. So this all comes in that project bag. So the DPN set was one. This is all another. All of this comes together. I keep looking at it thinking, I need one of these to store all my stuff in. This whole set is $49.99. And I have a couple of those here in stock now. And then some more are on their way to me. So that's the, what do they call it? Project pouch with roll-on cases. Or like roll-up cases. Jamie, the project bag, yes, with the little rolling cases in there. So that is the accessories part of what I got. The needle portion of what I got this time is an expansion of the Mindful collection. So I know we've talked about it a little bit. Here is my needle set. One of these is my personal one. That would be the one with dog hair all over it. So the Mindful collection all have these teal tags. We've talked before about the blocking boards and the blocking pins, individual needle tips, the cords. They have the swivel and the fixed cords is definitely mine. It's got dog hair on it. But this is the complete 5-inch set. So it unzips, has all these cute little pouches for all your needle tips, goes from size 2.5 up to 17. And then a little notions pouch with cords. With the complete set, I believe you get 8 cords, it might say. It probably does. 14 tips, 14 pairs of tips, cords, 3 swivel cords, and 3 fixed cords. So you get 6 cords, one each of a 24, 32, and 40 inch in length. So do I have the fixed ones? These are the fixed ones with tips on them. So they call them lace because they're pretty pointy. Not as pointy as the Hayas, which, so you won't poke holes in your fingers. But then they're marked every inch. I don't know if you can see that or not. You see that? Marks every inch. So your cord works as a little mini tape measure too. So what they came out with last year was Gratitude, which is what this is. That is a complete set of 5-inch tips and cords. That doesn't have a price on them. Let me look at my 4-inch one and I can tell you. $189.95 is how much this goes for. You do get, they figured it out that you get a 20% savings if you buy a kit versus buying each of the pieces in here in like on their own. For people that don't necessarily use all the sizes, they also came out with a smaller kit, which is one of these. Nope, that's one of the new ones. Kindness, Believe. So that was Gratitude. Believe is interchangeable tips that are the 5-inch length. So the longer ones, they go from size 2.5 to 8. So if you find that you don't want to invest in something like that because you don't use the larger sizes very often, this is another option. So that's the Believe set. Comes with 2 swivel cords and 2 fixed cords, 7 pairs of interchangeable tips. Those are $109.95. Then I had the same thing in the 4-inch needle tips. So what's the difference, 4-inch or 5-inch? If you do a lot of small circumference things, if you hats, collars on sweaters, things that call for a 16-inch circumference, you can't make a 16-inch circumference work with your 5-inch tips. You have to have the 4-inch tips. So they're a little bit more versatile. I find it harder to hang on to them though. So warmth and kindness are the same concept as the other two, only they both have the 4-inch tips. Warmth is the complete set from 2.5s to 15s. Kindness is 2.5s to 8s. So those they came out with last year. This year, I did post about it the other day, but I have to show you guys too. They came out with 2 sets of double pointed needles. They are stainless steel. That's one of the differences between these and what they've done before. They're not the aluminum like the Zings. Of course, they still have the Dreams, which are the wood ones that everybody is familiar with. But they also come with little pouches of goodies, all kinds of stitch markers, a needle gauge. Look how pretty that is. And they come with their own case. So the blue case that I showed you before is great if you have a whole bunch of rogue double pointed needles roaming around. But if you bought yourself a set, look at that. It comes with this great storage case for everything. So 2 different sets. Compassion has sizes 4 to 8 in the double points. And then, whoop, dropped one. Grateful is sizes 0 to 3 in the double points. And one of the things I wanted to let you guys know, ladies know, is that I think we finally figured out a way, or I haven't told anybody else at the shop this yet. I think I have figured out a way to create a wish list for you. So the holidays are coming up and I've already had customers come in and say, I wish there was a way that I could put a wish list together so family or significant others, friends could come in and have an idea of what to get. Gift certificates are always a good idea, but I did finally figure out a way where we can put a wish list in the system with your name. So we should be able to look it up for you. So keep that in mind. If there are things that you want us to put on your wish list, let us know, whether you're in the store or you message us about it. So this is the 0s to 3s. Look at how beautiful they are. And they do, all the mindful needles say different things. So like this says, imagine, explore, patience, love, calm, and hope. So each set of needles has the same word on all 5 needles. Then the coolest one, whoops, I almost lost my little notions there, is generosity. So this has been something that I have asked, well, lamented about Knitter's Pride not having prior to now. So the generosity set is interchangeable stainless steel 2-inch needle tips, sizes 2.5 to 10. It doesn't have a size 3 in there, which is interesting, but it goes 2.5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have cords to make 10-inch and 12-inch circumference circulars. So look at how cute those little guys are. Again, 2.5 up to 10s. Yes, they look tiny. And yes, they are tiny. There's the 10, the size 10 tip. But if you are doing anything, honestly, you guys, I say sleeves are what I would use these for the most part for. So you get these cords They don't seem quite so small once you've got the cord in your hand. But in the past, all I've really had is fixed circulars this small or the sets from Xiaogu. They have their red set and their blue set that are the small interchangeables like this. So this set is $115.99. You could, because it's Knitter's Pride, these little tips will work on any cords that you have. If you wanted to figure out a way to use your longer tips with these little shorty guys, you certainly could. You could put the little end caps on the other end and use them like single pointed needles. Karen has talked to people about that before. If they're not really familiar with using circulars and want to keep the needles separately, you can put one of these little guys on the end, put a needle tip on the other end, and in a pinch, you could have two sets of needles, two straights essentially, almost like they almost look like the little Afghan crochet hooks that way. But I like the fact that they are Knitter's Pride, so they'll interchange with all of your other Knitter's Pride that you already have, or if you want to add to your collection, you can do that too. So again, that set is $115.99. I did post about it the other day because I got this on Wednesday and I didn't want to wait until almost a week to talk about them because they are really cool. Also, if you get one of these sets, you'll get a little pouch that has different things than what you're used to with Knitter's Pride. They're little, we call them a key, but it's a pin. Their new ones have this little teal head on them, so they're a little bit easier to hang on to. And then the end caps, look at that. Cute little design on there, little lotus. They screw on, like I was just showing. So Christina Ray knows how to get what I want out of the shop. Yes, yarn jail is the other way to do that, but wish lists are great too. It gives, sometimes people just feel like a gift certificate's impersonal and they want to do something a little more personal. So that works. So that's all the fun new needle kits that I got. They do make a couple other ones that I did not order just because they don't seem like things that my typical customers get. Anything though that you see out on social media or in another shop that you would like me to order for you, I can. If it's anything Knitter's Pride, Haya, Xiaogu, that's pretty much. Addies, I can do some, I can special order some Addie things, but I don't carry a whole lot of that in store. One of the things I was going to show you guys, but I may wait because I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the information yet. Cocoa knits. Yeah, cocoa knits, I can't like just order one or two things at a time, but I am getting ready to put a cocoa knits order in. So if there are things that you want, I know the flight of stitch markers is always goes quickly when I get them. I have to get more of those. And any of the metal stitch markers work really well. I still have a few of the needle gauges, but now is the time. I know I need to get that stuff before we get too close to the holidays. What I will give you guys as kind of a teaser is, do you see this? It's like, it's bigger than half my body. This giant tote bag from Dream in Color. Look at how shiny their logo is. I love it. So this bag is full of mini skein samples. No two colors are duplicated in this giant thing. And I wanted to show them all to you, but it's kind of a little overwhelming. I'm really looking forward to using it to reorder colors or to be able to play around with what colors will look really good together. That's what Veronica at Dream in Color, that's what she uses these a lot for. So because I'm one of her good customers, the shop is, and you guys make that possible, they sent this to me. There's something else I was going to say about that. Oh, Dream in Color. So for those who are interested, because I have had a couple people ask me, they will be doing a pop-up club again in the spring. I chatted with Veronica, the owner, on the phone the other day, and I verified that it'll start in February and it will go February, March, April, and May. They don't do a spring sock club. They only do the pop-up, which is this mushy with cashmere. If you are interested in getting on that list automatically, pre-ordering, let me know. And I have already started a spreadsheet for spring, and I can add your name to it as it gets closer. We'll talk about pre-ordering and discounts. You know how I try and help you guys out a little bit with that. I think that's it. That was a lot. It's already 10 to 8. So if we're not having much to chat about, I had a lot to chat about. Who needs notes? Okay, so again, as kind of a recap, if there are any notions or needles that you saw that you're interested in, put it in the comments or shoot a message to the shop or text or call the shop, 989-274-8571. I'm here, well, somebody's here 10 to 6 Wednesday through Saturday, but I can get the texts anytime, and we'd love to help you any way we can. If I don't see you at some point over the next week because you've stopped in the shop to see me, or maybe I see you like out in the wild, I hope you guys have a great week. And I think I will have different sorts of things to talk about next Monday. That's all I'm going to say about that. But won't just be shop stuff, I guess, is the way to put it. So have a good week. I hope you are creative. Start something, finish something, do something. Just create. That's really what we should be going for. Have a good week, and I will talk to you guys all next week. Bye.